Hello, this is a short series of presentations to assist paraglider and hang glider pilots who are studying for their BHPA pilot rating exams. This series is on meteorology. In this section, we will review some of the key meteorological terms that you'll need to understand in order to prepare for the BHPA pilot rating exam. This slide summarizes some of the terms we need to know. Let's have a look at these in turn. Instability or stability in relation to weather refers to the tendency of air to move vertically. Air is less likely to travel vertically in more stable conditions. Veering and backing are two opposites. They refer to changes in the wind direction and apply to movements to the right or left as you face into the wind. If the wind has a tendency to move to your right, it is veering. Changes to the left are known as backing. Due to the Coriolis effect, or the turning of the Earth, winds in the northern hemisphere always veer a few degrees as you climb away from the Earth's surface. Lapse rates refer to the cooling of the air as it rises. The dry adiabatic lapse rate is generally around 3 degrees per 1,000 feet, and the saturated adiabatic lapse rate is generally around 1.5 degrees per 1,000 feet. The environmental lapse rate for any particular day depends on the local air mass, and it's recorded by meteorologists using their high-tech balloons that measure all the parameters of the air and transmit that data back down to the weather scientists. There is a connection between the stability of the air mass and the lapse rate of rising air. The basic premise is that air will cool as it ascends. The photo on the right shows this because the higher lake is frozen over while the lower lake isn't. The degree to which air cools is an expression of the stability of the air mass. A lower degree of cooling with height generally means more stability. Anabatic winds are warm winds that blow up a slope or mountainside, driven by the sun's heating of the slope. They are more common in the summer and are usually light. When the free flyer is waiting at launch on a light wind thermic day, we feel these updrafts of anabatic air on our faces, and they often provide us with the launch conditions that we need. Katabatic winds blow down a slope due to gravity. They occur at night when the mountains are no longer being heated by the sun and have begun to radiate their heat and cool down. Katabatic winds can be quite strong, especially over ice-covered surfaces. Late, on light wind days, on launches in the mountains, winds can suddenly switch and start coming from behind you, preventing safe launch. Pilots may often say that the wind has gone katabatic. A tephigram is another name for the skew-T chart. They are produced as a result of measurements collected by a radiosonde balloon. These are fairly advanced level weather graphics that can be found on weather sites such as Windy, RASP and Meteo Blue. They contain a lot of information, but the line on the right, marked red in this example, indicates the air temperature as the balloon rises through the atmosphere. The blue line indicates the moisture in the air. As a record of temperature decay, the red line is a measurement of the environmental lapse rate. CAVOC is an aviation term used to indicate good weather, excellent visibility, and no cloud cover affecting flight. It's rarely, if ever, used by our free flight community. This is a list of those terms we've just discussed and others taken from Graham Taylor's pilot exam notes. It can be helpful to study these to learn a little bit more. So that concludes this section on some of the more common and important meteorological terms that may pop up in the BHPA pilot rating exam.